My name is Aleksander Wierzejski. Good evening, and this is Poland Daily News. The Polish border guard is preparing for another difficult night as additional migrant caravans have set off from Minsk towards the Polish border today. The Belarusian security services have also provided the migrants with rocks and gravel that can be used to attack the Polish forces. In anticipation of the arrival of the new group of migrants, the Polish government has dispatched additional personnel to the largest makeshift migrant camp on the Belarusian side of the border near Kuźnica Białostocka.
In a video released by the police of the Podlasie province, the additional forces and military equipment can be seen as the standoff at the border with Belarus continued on Sunday. Surrounded by an increasing number of vehicles and special equipment, Polish police and border guards watched thousands of migrants who are camping on the other side of the razor wire fence, hoping to cross into the EU. Behind them, Belarusian troops could be seen in a video released by the Polish police. Meanwhile, Poland's military presented anti-aircraft missiles, rocket launchers and tanks in the town of Czyzew on Sunday. The Polish military is currently touring the Podlasie province in an effort to display strength and create trust in the province that borders Belarus. The tank and anti-aircraft divisions were joined by the local police and firefighters, who also presented their newest gear and vehicles to a crowd full of families and onlookers. We are here in Czyzew to create a positive picture of the Polish army among locals and to create trust within the local community. Firefighter Kamil says such a military display is more important than ever. People might feel safer thanks to this exhibition. Listen, this is happening 100 to 150 kilometers from us here. Everyone watches TV. It will be for sure more secure when this situation will fade out and dialogue will be established. Dialogue between the EU and Belarus. This must further the situation to calm down. The EU, which has repeatedly sanctioned Belarus for human rights abuses, accuses Minsk of luring migrants from war-torn, deprived countries and sending them as pawns to cross into Poland to try to sow violent chaos on the bloc's eastern flank.
More and more foreigners are starting to arrive in Poland with the goal of hiding the migrants trying to illegally cross the country from Belarus. Some of them include MPs from the German parliament, such as Jacqueline Nastich from the former Communist Party Die Linke. Nastich states that the Polish government must allow the migrants to enter the country immediately.
The German politician has joined forces with Polish and German NGOs at a fire station that acts as a distribution hub of care packages for migrants in need. While visiting the fire station in Michałowo, together with members of Grupa Granica and Wirpakens, Nastich called on Poland to allow journalists to enter the border zone with Belarus to document what is happening to the migrants. Of course, we also demand that journalists finally have access to this zone, as well as international observers like myself and politicians, because we all rightly ask ourselves, what is there to hide? Even in war, in crisis zones, some of you have already been there, me too. International observers are still allowed in. Nastich, a member of the Committee on Human Rights and Humanitarian Aid, also criticized Poland for allegedly having destabilized the countries the migrants come from through participation in military interventions. This has a much bigger dimension. These people come from war zones and crisis areas. They come from Yemen, they come from Iraq, they come from Syria, and some also from Afghanistan. They come from countries where wars have been waged in recent years, wars which also had the involvement of NATO countries, including Germany, the USA, and partly also Poland. Polish police said on Saturday the body of a young Syrian man had been found near the border. At least 8 migrants have already died, and fears are growing for the safety of others as harsh winter conditions set in.
Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has stated that his country wants Russia to deploy nuclear-capable Iskander missile systems in the southern and western part of Belarus. The statement was made in an interview with Russian Defense magazine published on Saturday.
Russia is a close ally of Belarus, which the European Union has accused of engineering a crisis on its border by flying in thousands of migrants and pushing them to try to cross illegally into Poland. Brussels is gearing up to sanction Minsk. Lukashenko said that he needed the Iskander mobile ballistic missile system, which has a range of up to 500 kilometers and can carry either conventional or nuclear warheads. EU members Poland and Lithuania lie to the west of Belarus. Its south borders Ukraine. Lukashenko gave no indication of whether he had held any talks with Moscow about receiving the missile system. I am pestering President Putin. I need those 500 kilometers missile systems. Iskanders, you talk about them often. I need several divisions in the west and the south. Let them stand there. It's 500 kilometers of firing range, and our Polonaise is no more than 300 kilometers. Russia's defense ministry did not immediately reply to our request to comment. Belarus and Russia are formally part of a union state and have been in talks for years to move closer together.
A representative of the Turkish state has said that threats of sanctions against its flag carrier Turkish Airlines over the migrant crisis on Polish-Belarusian border are unacceptable. Ibrahim Kalin, spokesperson of President Erdogan, says that Ankara is not part of the problem in any way.
Speaking to Turkey's private broadcaster NTV, the president's spokesperson said the country is not part of the conflict. Despite all the measures that are being taken, criticizing and targeting Turkey or Turkish Airlines and talking about introducing sanctions is completely unacceptable. Because at the end of the day, this is not a problem between Turkey and Belarus or Poland, but it's a problem between Belarus and Poland and Lithuania. Although we are not part of this problem, we continue to make contributions to resolve this problem as much as we can. On Friday, Turkey's Civil Aviation General Directorate said citizens from Syria, Yemen and Iraq will no longer be allowed to buy flight tickets from Turkey to Minsk amid a migrant standoff between Belarus and the European Union. Kalin said the flight ban was temporary. This will be implemented temporarily because there should be a legitimate reason to punish these nationals. There isn't. Why would that happen anyway? But if there is such a crisis, these countries need to take a step to resolve it. We are very sensitive on irregular migration and human trafficking. Turkey is host to some 4 million mainly Syrian migrants and has in the past been involved in a migration-related standoff with Greece and the EU. Meanwhile, the EU is continuing to accuse Minsk of encouraging migrants to come to its territory and then push them to cross to Poland and other neighboring countries.
That's all for tonight. Poland Daily News returns tomorrow, same time.